Hello and welcome on this lovely Monday. I believe it's now Monday Madness with me, and my name's Simon Williamson, and I'm here from the Evergreen Design team. So how are we all doing? Have we all had a chance to have a look at the new website? It's amazing, isn't it? Some really good features on there. I can see lots of people have joined already. We've got Roxy, Elizabeth, Linda, Phil, Anne, Paul. Hello to you all. Han Picton as well. So nice to see some new names on there as well. So anyway, let's get on with our first demonstration today. So the first demo I've got, I was having a bit of a play with the stamps that I'd bought from Stamps by Me, and I hope you like what I've come up with, but I've had this one for a bit and I just didn't know what to do with it, but I've gone for this one, which is the old time postcode collection, and it's got all that, the stamps and the little details. So I'm going to be using this for the first demonstration. Some really good images in there. I just weren't sure what to do with them at first, and I think I've had a good play and come up with a good idea. So, this is the card I'm going to show you how to make. This is like an inverted card, so if I just twist it, you should be able to see, if I just try and do it this way, it actually steps inwards rather than outwards, so there's actually more depth towards the centre. It's just a good way of using them little stamps, and it's a really good way for a masculine card as well. So, without further ado, let's get started. So I'm just going to put a piece of paper down so we don't get ink everywhere. I've just got a scrap of this blue paper that I found. I'll put them stamps there because we're going to pick and mix when we want to use them. I'm going to use the Ising dye inks today. So I've got the Wrigley's, the Newit and the Ocean. 3 colours that I think go very well with this kind of colour that we've got. I'm just going to get a stamping block. Here we go. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm actually going to bring up the stamping platform. So I'm going to get my sentiment in the middle of this piece of card, and then the rest of it we can be a little bit more freer with. Just turn that around so that paper don't get in the way. And I've just gone for like a sentiment that's a little bit square in orientation. I think it might have been a thirsty brush one. So I'm going to put it towards the centre, but then I'm just going to put it off angle. And the reason I'm doing this is that with it being a square card, I don't want it to go out of sync and it throw you off your pattern. So if we start off at an angle, it can't go wrong, and we can choose where it looks like at the end. So pick that up. I'm going to use this Wrigley's black colour. Give it a good pat down on there. Now I like these colours because they're a little bit more distressed when they actually stamp. That good push down. I'm going to do that one more time so we can get that nice and crisp. So David says he's got these stamps and looking forward to this demo. I know, I think we're all guilty of it as crafters, aren't we? We buy things and then we just get a little bit stuck for inspiration, so I like to push myself as well. There we go, so we've got a nice sentiment in the centre of this actual piece of card. So I'm just going to take that stamp off. So the next bits we can be a little bit more freer with. So let's have a look. So let's start off with this stamp, I think. I'm just going to get a slightly bigger block. This is one that like the Eiffel Tower in there. I'm going to start with my lightest kind of colour. Give that a good stamping. I'm going to just add these onto a piece of card in a random pattern. And I'm not bothered if little bits not being missed because I think it adds to this effect. And I'm using this Ising dye because it's a faster drying one. If you're a bit messy like me, you've got less chance of smudging it. So it's a really good one for me. There we go. Let's change the stamp to a different one. Let's have this bike. Just doing little bits of it around the edge. And I think we're going to change colour now. So that was the Ocean. And let's go for this Newit. I'm going to have to learn French for these colours. And this is just a slightly darker one, which means that we can go over as other images. Swap again. And I love how you can layer these on top of each other as well. It's just adds a real easy way of building a background up. Let's have the crown as well, I think. So I'm just trying to creep in towards my sentiment, but I don't want to go really up to it. I want to leave a bit of a blank area around it. And I'm going to swap to the darker colour. Just move those out of the way. And I love this kind of like franking line, isn't it? Now when you're in the post office and they frank the stamps so you can use it. I think this is really clever. And it just gives a little bit of detail that pulls it in. And it looks really good over your stamps as well. You could also emboss this. This will look really good embossed. Just put a little bit more around this side. And I'm happy with that. So let's just pull them all to one side now. So let's move the stamping platform out of the way. So what I want to do with this now is I want to actually cut it into 3 sections. So to do that, I've got 3 dies that layer down inside. So I've got this first one. Got the middle one for the sentiment. You can choose where you want to arrange these, but I'm going to go a little bit quirky off angle like that. Oops, I'll just push that up a little bit. So you can see I'm not relying on it being perfectly all the way around. I'm just going to get my die cut plate and we'll just pop that through. And if it slips a little bit, it doesn't matter, it adds to this effect, honestly. I'm just going to push that through. So Anne says, is that fast drying ink that you're using? It is, Anne, yeah. It's the Eyes Ink dye, which are the faster drying ones. The other ones would be ideal if you're going to emboss as well, wouldn't it? It'd keep a little bit wetter for longer. But I wanted this to kind of absorb straight in, so that's why I chose these. I don't think I've missed any other questions. I will check afterwards though. So let's get rid of these dies. And you can see now we've got our 3 layers that we've created, and then we're going to assemble these back together in a second. The first thing we need to do is we need to get this part actually mounted with the actual blue background. Okay. So the way I think it's best to do this is a little bit of tape runner, and that'll just hold it in place while it goes through the die cut machine in a second. You could wet glue this, but sometimes with the pressure, it just pushes the glue out a little bit too much. Let's get that onto there. Stuck down nicely. I'm just going to cut this part off, because we don't need this bit up here. And I've got the outer die, which I'm going to make sure is nice and central around our image. And I've also got an inner one, but it's a nice internal border as well. And I'm going to just tack these down with some masking tape, so I don't want this to slide at this stage. Let's put that into there. There we go. Let's just get that through. just slip there and just sew it in time. Just a little bit more tape, I think. And that's my fault. I bought this new tape and it's that low tack it don't really hold, which is not the best. Here we go. So we had a few more people join. So hi, Stacey. So Susan Buckle, that's a nice shade of blue. I know, I tell you, I really like this ink pad as well, the ocean colour. I think it really is a fresh kind of colour. I was that inspired by it. I've just bought a new shirt in that colour as well, so you might get to see that next week. Okay, so this is our first layer. So you can see we've got our first layer now. I'm just going to try and take this off gently, but I might be able to reuse this piece of card for the next part. There we go. So I've brought the other nesting die, and this is the one that's going to create the border inside this aperture. So I want to just put that onto the centre of this card. You don't have to be as precise with this layer because it's going to be hid behind that layer in a second. So let's just get that popped through. Some really lovely stamps on this collection though, I've got to say. And you can keep building it up how you like. So these are your colours and you love them. Oh, that's nice to know. Just take that bit out. So now we should have got an aperture for this middle there. And all we're going to do is we're going to tape one of that into place. So if we just around the edge. And you can see we can hold that down and make sure we get that lined up nicely. I'm just going to whip round with the scissors and just remove these outer bits that we don't need. You won't see these little bits, but they'll get in the way when you're trying to assemble your card, so that's that. Right, and then we've got our sentiment and we've got our 3 panels. Let's start building this up to get our like invertage going on, a bit going inwards. So I brought some foam tape for this bit. And the best way I've come up with doing this is to start with the middle there. I'm going to put some foam tape kind of up to the edge of that blue square that we've cut out. I'm going to run that around both sides. All the sides, sorry, not both. Just make sure we've got some good coverage, and this will help support it in a second. You could do it with foam pads, but just watch them not too deep, or else you'll be able to see all your mechanism and the way it's held together. Just take that backing off. And then we can place this using this area here. So as long as you get your sentiment in the centre, just go down, throw it into place, and that tape will pick up that piece of card for you nicely. Okay, so we're going to do the exact same again. We're going to put some tape around this part. Don't want to go too close to the edge because then people are going to see from the side what it looks like. And we want to try and hide as much of this mechanism as possible. There we go, we'll just take some of that off. It's behaving this week, normally I can't get this off. So I'm going to leave that down there, and I'm going to put this back in position. So I'm going to just follow where the design was inked before, because I think it looks nice that way. And I'm just going to learn where that goes and pick that piece up there. That's perfect. And then because we've got double height on the centre, we need to just increase the foam pads again on the outer edge. You can always, so you can use this to trap any bits of card as well that you didn't get first time. around these other edges. I'm just going to leave that to one side just for a second. I'll just turn that way up because it's a nicer way to look. What we need to do now is we need to just create our background on our white blank card. So I'm going to use the same ink colours that we used before for the actual front of it, which I think these work really well. I'm going to do the same premise as before as well. I'm going to start with the lighter colour, which is that turquoisey ocean colour. I'm just going to build up, similar to the way we did the other, but we're going to do it on white this time. I'll just take some of those stamps around the edge. Change that one over. Some of the crowns going around that way. And we'll change colour. So let's go to that navy kind of blue in the middle. We'll overlap some of those like we did on his main image. And I think we'll go in with the release, which is, I think it's like a black or an almost black. Let's go in with the little wavy franking line. Just get some of that detail towards the edge. And it really doesn't matter about this centre part, so if you need to hold it anywhere, use that area. There you go, I'm happy with that. Just move my ink pad out of the way so I don't get inky fingers. I'm just going to take this backing tape off. Just check which way it opens. And we can pop this in the centre of our card. There we go, give it that nice push down. And there we are, that's our first demo. That's like an inverted kind of stacker card using those really detailed stamps. I think they're amazing, I've got to be honest. I don't know why I was scared to try them. So I've got to say it really pulls together to make a fast card, and what a perfect card for a gent as well. So I hope you like that first demonstration. What we're going to do now is going to run you a short video of some inspiration from the Farmyard collection, and that's why I set up my demonstration. There's a clue there, so you know what animal's going to be coming next, don't you? So I'll see you in 2 seconds. And welcome back. I can see from the comments you enjoyed that last demo, so that's nice to know. So it was a little bit different, and it's nice to have a play with stamps that I just didn't know where to start with. So hopefully it gives you some inspiration if you've got that set. You can have a go yourself. So last week we did a demonstration which involved using your scraps of paper, and it was very popular. A lot of people commented on it. It's a nice way of using the scraps you've got. So I've tried to come up with another card this week, showing you how you can transform your scraps of paper into a bit of an interesting card. I've come up with this little cheeky card, and it's a little like pig coming in on his balloon to deliver that love out to somebody, and I thought that's a bit quirky, and it's an easy one to make, and it really is just a few stamps and a few pieces of scrap paper. So I'll show you how to make this one. So I started off by just with my card blank shaping the top of it. Now if you don't know how to do that, I already did this one to make it a bit faster, but you would get, I'll just use, if you pretend that's your circle die, all you would do is you would thread it through, that you just cut in on the edge that you want, and you put the bit you don't want to cut underneath. And then when you trap it onto your plates, you would trap it, so only that bit's actually trapped onto your plates, if that makes sense. And then when it comes out, you'll get a shaped card. Rather than demonstrate it, I thought I'd do it for speed, but then I thought it actually might be good to show you, so that's how you do it. So I've got my shaped card already, so that can go up there. And then we've got some scraps of paper that I've got at home. They do clash a bit, these as well, but I think that'll actually add to it in the end. So let's get started. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to secure this to my card blank. I have just trimmed it so it's the right width. And I've got a card here that goes like a little bit ombre, so it's darker to lighter. I'm going to swap it around so the darker areas at the top. And I think we're going to use the tape runner for this. Just make sure we get some nice amount of coverage on that adhesive. I think we're going to use the edge as a line up. I've purposely left it a little bit bigger than the card so we can trim it down. That a good push down. And then we could just trim the other bits off we don't need. So really simple way of giving you like a card blank in a colour that you want in. Trim the top so it's just rounded off. Get rid of those bits. So it's almost like the sky then, isn't it? It's darker going towards the lighter. That's the first bit. I'm going to bring in my cutting plates now. So I need some kind of grass. So I brought out the grass die from the farmyard collection. We're going to cut that on there. Let's just get that one through as well. What I'll do for speed, I think, actually, is I'm just going to get these actually stamped with the pigs as well. So we're going to use a little stamping block for that. Lost my black ink pad, so... excuse me 2 seconds while I grab one. So we use that release that we used on the previous demo. So I'm just going to stamp that little piglet. Pick up that ink. Make sure that's well covered. Give that a good press down. There you go, I'm happy with that. Let's get the mother piglets done while we're at this stage. And then the last one, I think, is the one that's looking up. So let's get that one stamped. There we go. Just move that ink out of the way. While we die cut, we might as well die cut all these in one go. So we've got our little piglet stood on one leg. And then we've got the one with his little arm up. Getting all these dies lined up. They're really easy to line up, actually. They've got a really clear border around each one. So a little bit more masking tape around that one. There we go. So pop them in there. Put the grass piece there. And we'll just cut all those in one go. So nothing too hard then. It's just little scraps of paper that I've had from projects I've made here anyway. So nice way to use them. Good card for kids as well, so they could easily be stamping these out and just put them ready to build a card in the future. So let's just pop our little piggies out. Oh, it's a well-loved mat lace, I don't want to release them at things. Let me just, here we go. That's our little piglets up there. Get rid of those for now. I'm going to put the grass through again. And another scrap I've got that's a little bit more yellow with this one. It gives a bit more contrast. So that's our little grass layer. Nearly there. I think I need to get myself a little die cutting machine. There we go. So we can start building this up. So we can put this grass layer on once we've got those two components there ready. So we can put one on. It can be off the card as well, which I think I might do with this one. Let's have that grass just coming out of that edge, which I think adds a little bit more detail. On this one, I'm just going to put a little bit of glue. I'm going to use a foam pad. This is exactly how I built this at home. I did it bit by bit to see if I liked it. So I can glue that bit off. And then the foam pad just adds a little bit of depth. There you go. That's our grass layering. And then we can put the pigs on this one now. So we can have, I think we need that one on the, let's have a look, we've got 3. That one needs to come down on the parachute, I think. And then I think we'll keep to that, then the looking inwards. I think that's a nice way of doing it. Let's have him stood there on that bit of grass. And I think the other one, I'll just pop a little bit of glue on and then we can have him just creeping in the grass at the back. And because I've created that little bit of a gap, you can just tuck in there nicely. Okay. The next thing we need to do now is to create the actual canopy for his balloon. And the way I've done that is I've got 2 pieces of card exactly the same. And I found out a small little circular die that I had. I'll just grab that. It's actually one of the rounds from the postage stamp collection. So it's just a really easy small die. I'm sure you can all find a circular one in your stash. And all I'm going to do, I'm going to keep both these pieces together. I'm just going to put a circle put in the centre of both of them parts. Just pop that through. I don't think there's any questions I've missed, but if there's any questions you want to ask, just put a QQ and I can see them a bit easier. It's been a bit rainy here earlier on, but it seems to be brightened up today now, so hopefully when I go out it'll still be nice and sunny. Okay, so that's his first layer. And I'm just going to put those pieces of card back together, make sure that it's lined up where it should be. I'm just going to put the next die just going along that bottom there. And then we'll send it through again. So what you're thinking to the new tools that Tony's released then? I noticed the tag punch, I think it's called. I think that'll be going in my basket. It looks really versatile. You'd have to play with them, in fairness. There you go. I'm just going to move that up again. We're creating like his wavy edge then for his parachute. And we'll put that through again. This one's a small Sue cutting machine. It might exist, that tracer. There you go. So we've got his 3 circles cut out. And then what we're going to do is just going to use this now to start our parachute to come together. The first thing I did is I just cut this bit off, so we don't need the lower part. So get rid of that. And then the next thing I want to do is turn it over so we can look at the back of this. And then what we're going to do is cut. I'll just grab a pen, just 2 seconds. So we take this from our centre point here, and here, and here. We're just going to cut a line. So we're going to put in those like kind of directions. And it doesn't have to be exact. It can be as wobbly as you like. But the thing is to keep this piece of paper really sturdy together before you cut. So once you cut, this is going to help it paper piece back together. So first one we're going to do is there. I'm going to go down here. I'm going to go down this one. There you go. Then when we turn these over, we can put our parachute back together, look. And it'll line up perfectly. So let's get rid of those bits we don't need, which you could always make into another card if you wanted. And then I'm just going to use a scrap of card across the back. And I'm just going to use this really to help me assemble it, so it doesn't have to be a big piece of card. Let's just start with that red section. And then we'll line the blue one up with it. And then we'll put that other blue piece on. And then the red. Like a jigsaw, isn't it, that you've created? Okay, so then what we just need to do is find out where this needs to be on here now. So give that an idea. Yeah, I'm really happy with that. Don't need to cut any off it, we can do that later. So the next thing we need to do is create the actual strings for the actual parachute. So I've just got some sparkly cord. I'm just going to take 4 lengths of that. There you go. Just cut that into 4 pieces. I'm going to use some double-sided sticky tape for this next part. And just because it'll hold it with a little bit more stability. Let's run that across there. So Anne says she's ordered all the tags, the small trim, we're just waiting for them to arrive. You can have lots of fun with them, Anne, when they come, I tell you. They're at the side of me here. I think Tim will have to count that they all leave when I go. So I'm just going to put some of this string now in the centre of where them points are. And repeat that for all the 4 pieces. And I'm just going to trap that with another piece of red liner tape, just to give it a little bit of stability so it can't move. There we go. And we've got our strings attached now for our parachute. So let's mount this in place now, because we know we need this to be secure. So I think what we can do is we can use some foam pads. And all I'm going to do is layer this down so them strings are even left and right. Yep, I'm happy with that. Let's give that a good push down. And I can use the scissors to trim around this shape now that I don't want. So let's put that bit up there. Follow the curve of the top. Just move that out of the way. And when I turn this over, oh, I've got one of my little strings that's fallen off. So let me just attach that. And just get it into there, I think. That was my fault, I accidentally trimmed it with the scissors. There you go. There you go. So you can see we've got our 4 lines now coming down for our parachute. So let's tie them together. I think we need to tie them about there. So we've got our little piglet that's going to be coming in. So we'll tie them all together now. Give that a good knot. I'm really happy with that. And then we can just trim those excess bits off. And I think I'm going to use a bit of that foam tape just so I can trap that thread. So I'll put a little bit underneath that knot. And give that a good pull down. Keep it a little bit taut. And we can put another bit on top. And then we can put our little piglet with an upside down look. And I think just to finish it off, we'll put a little love art on this one. And you can be holding it down there, look. And then, because I didn't have any sentiments in my stash that resembled a parachute, I've took some of the little washi tape sentiments. So we've got so proud of you, let's celebrate, make a wish, love you. So I think so proud of you, let's celebrate. We should have them too. And just get some foam pads. Just cut a little strip off on both of these. So proud of you. Just get the bit that shot off the table. Let's celebrate. I'll just stand that up for you. There you go. Another little fun, quirky card, just showing you what you can do with the scraps of cards that you've got. And those little pigs are so versatile, they really are. I can make so many cards with them. So, hope you've enjoyed those 2 demonstrations today. Put them both there for you. We've got something a little bit more adult, maybe more of a male-orientated card. And you've got a really fun one with the parachuting pig that looks like it's falling out. So, hope you've enjoyed those. I think that's it for me today. And what we'll do is I'll see you next time, same time next week, for another Monday Madness. So until then, see you again. Bye-bye.